So EQ or emotional intelligence, I kind of feel like I've touched on this one before, but I'll rehash on it anyway. So EQ is what separates strong leaders from weak leaders, and those who think that being a prick will actually get you better results. You're in for a rude awakening. Imagine this: being able to connect with people on an emotional level, right? Being able to comfort them, guide them in a more solid direction. Say, leading them out of the clouds. That's real talent right there. That's real leadership, and leaders who know the benefits of EQ are way more likely to get better results out of their people than those who treat people like crap. I mean, let's be honest, right? The definition of insanity is actually doing the same thing over and over and over and over and actually, expecting to get different results, right? It's just not going to happen. Understanding that and utilizing emotional intelligence, and that's just an extremely powerful way to focus your energy in a direction for just tremendous results. But there's a catch. Emotional intelligence, won't do you damn thing if you aren't genuine about it, right? If you're not genuine, emotional intelligence will not do you a damn thing. You see, what's interesting is that because of the uniqueness of the traits associated with EQ, people don't people don't accept examples alone. You can't put on a farce, right? You want to you want to know it's they basically want to know it's genuine, right? That your emotions are authentic. You're not just putting on that farce, or otherwise you're just faking it to. That's going to more or less drive a wedge into the trust. The way that people perceive you as being trustworthy or not, right? So I believe it was said by uh, Janet Stevenson. Authenticity requires a certain measure of vulnerability, transparency, and integrity, right? So a lot of times I notice that genuine people talk about their bad days and faults, and because of this, I believe that when you only see someone who's smiling, when you only see someone who's smiling and happy, right? That's the only time you ever see them. They're not being real with you, and they put themselves in the category of hyper false reality, right? Or false hyper reality. I believe that's the idea, right? It's the flash mob concept internalized, where people who are basically addicted to the selfie mode lifestyle, right? So I'm going to go over 10 qualities that genuine people exhibit. So let's start off with this, right? Genuine people, they don't seek attention, right? Genuine people don't need constant reinforcement of their own egos. Um, whereas in traverse, right, attention seekers, they tend to have a void to be filled with acknowledgement, where genuine people are already filled with self confidence and self awareness, right? So since genuine people aren't desperate for attention, they don't need to show off. They don't even try to show off. They tend to know when they can speak in a friendly and confident and concise manner, right? Where people are more attentive to what they have to say, then they try to show that they're important, right? So when you're genuine, right, people catch on to your attitude much more quickly and are more attracted to the right attitude versus people who are basically just out there trying to get attention, trying to gain your attention just for like just a quick fix, right? Number two, genuine, they're not concerned with being liked. The need to be liked is actually born from a cross between like um, insecurities and narcissism, right? So confident and authentic people are actually they're just themselves. You can either choose to like them or not. They don't really care, but they're going to do what they want to do, and they're not concerned with your validation of their actions. One of the third qualities is they can tell when others are full of shit, because naive people are easily fooled, right? Easily fooled. But genuine folks are grounded like in reality, and that gives them a baseline from which they can tell when things just don't add up, right? Genuine people aren't motivated by stuff. I need more things. I need to buy more stuff, right? No, genuine people have, and I think I've said it myself probably 1,000 times to my wife, right? I need less shit and more prestige. I need less things and more prestige, right? And when you're comfortable with who you are, you don't need a lot of things to be happy. You go out and find happiness. Number five, genuine people are more comfortable in their own skin. They're not trying to hide or cater themselves, their personality, their attitude, their outlook, their insights, to fit a specific mold or an audience, right? Oh, I'm worried so and so is going to hear this or hear that. You know, I mean, they're not afraid to to receive, you know, feedback. They're not just being fake or playing a game, right? Genuine people are authentic all the time. And as Henry David Thoreau actually said, no, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. And what that means basically is that people are afraid to be themselves for fear of judgment, and that's not really any way to live, honestly. I mean, let's be honest, no way to live. Genuine people are thick-skinned. They don't take themselves too seriously, and they don't take offense when none is intended. They take criticism and they understand that everybody has an opinion. It's like everyone has an opinion, everyone has a voice. No matter how educated or uneducated it might be, it's still an opinion, it's still a voice, and they don't really care. That's perfectly fine to happen, right? You know, they're not overly modest or boastful, right? Since they're confident in their strengths and they don't need to brag about themselves, humility is just amazingly a positive trait. I mean, you may have heard it before, but being humble is much better than being pretentious. Genuine people actually practice what they preach, right? They have a strong sense of self-awareness. They're not hypocrites. They're not likely to advise people to do something they wouldn't do themselves, right? And genuine people are really no better than anyone else. It's just it's not really in their nature to be self-righteous. Genuine people, they as well, they don't pass judgments on others, right? They treat everyone with respect. Genuine people are very open-minded, which makes them very approachable, right? Having an open mind means approachability. It means access to new ideas, willingness to ask for help and learn. It means you see the world through other people's perspective, and you can, basically change your approach based upon the way that, or you can change your interaction style, right? Being able to adjust your, level of communication, the style of communication, right? That's just another factor of EQ, emotional intelligence, right? You don't have to believe the same way as somebody else, but you also don't judge them for their actions based on their perspective. Yeah, you internalize the perspectives of others, and that's part of psychology, actually. So, a good majority of the time, genuine people are known to forge their own paths, right? Genuine people, they don't derive the same sense of, pleasure and satisfaction from the opinions of others, the same paths that have been preset that everyone is destined to take, right? You go to school, you get your education, you get out, you get a good job, you follow through all these predestined checkpoints, right? Because it's what society and people expect of you. Breaking the mold, I don't know about that. Genuine people don't care. They really don't care. I mean, they're true to themselves, and they follow their own game plan, right? Based upon their internal compass. They do things that they believe are the right thing. They're not swayed by the fact that others may not like it, right? And then there's my favorite one that I actually recently added to this list, right? Genuine people put away their phones during conversation. When you approach people, with small talk and they're tethered to their phones, right? And they're trying to talk to you, trying to focus on this. They're multitasking. They're not focusing on you, right? This puts the other person in the conversation. This puts their brain on kind of like an autopilot and prevents them from having a real connection with you, right? A real connection, right? So genuine people create connection and they find depth in even in short everyday conversations. They're interested in people, which makes it easier for them to ask good questions and relate, what they've been told back to that person in, relating to everyday facets of conversation, right? So those are my list of 10 plus 1 qualities that genuine people exhibit.